Well, today I want to talk about my new Bauer skates I bought last year. And I want to talk about profiling. I want to give a quick review on blades, these Bauer LXT Pro Plus. And when I first bought these, they came with the LS3 Plus blade. And they're good skates. I'm not upset with the skates at all. But the blades that they came with, I thought when they arrived were really flat, I should say. I mean, you could just see it when you looked at it. And I had a pair of Bauers from 2011, and when I first bought them, I had to really get used to them at first because it almost seemed like they rocked. They were really curved profile-wise, end to end. And as a defenseman, it didn't take long. I really got to love them. And then when those skates really just started hurting me real bad, because I'm getting older, so I went ahead and bought a new pair of skates. And the blades that they came with just looked really flat to me. And it doesn't look maybe all that flat right here, but if you just were to hold it up to it, they just, to me, even when I bought them, they just looked really flat, like almost like hockey or goalie blades. And I just thought, this is crazy. And so, I've been skating with them, and I didn't have that rocking feeling I had with my old skates, and I was really struggling, to the point where I started to become a referee in hockey, and my wife says, "Boy, you're just hunched over on the ice. You look like an old man. You're not standing up straight. You look like you're not turning right. You're looking like you're having a real hard time out there." And I could feel it. And so I knew something about profiling. I had seen it on the internet. I didn't know what profiling really was. I just knew that they could do stuff with your blades. And so I looked at videos and people talking about profiling, but nobody can really tell you what profile to get. And I'm a defenseman. I started refereeing, so what profile do I need? I'm always wanting to pivot and turn and that kind of thing, and transition a lot. So didn't really know what to do. So I found on Ice Warehouse, and I'm going to pull that up here because I thought it was really helpful. Let me share that. So Ice Warehouse, and they had how to select the correct skate sharpening. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. And I got a friend that sharpens skates for me, and he's always trying to get me to go up to 5/8. I used to do the 3/8 sharpening, and then I went up to the 1/2 inch, and I thought, that's really good. And he was wanting me to go up even higher, and okay, 1/2 inch, I'm pushing it. So we'll come back to that in a second. But the profiling thing is the thing that I really needed fixed. And so they talk about here in the website, if you scroll down on this particular web page, select your profile, your Pro Sharp profile. And they talk about it. And I still didn't know what to get. And they talked about the single radius and the triple superior radius and the quad radius and the ellipse radius. And just by the descriptions, the ellipse radius seemed to be the more dynamic and something that might be more suited to somebody like myself who plays defense and referees. And so I selected that. And so what I did was I went ahead and bought, and I got the new ones in here, the Tuke LS Plus TI, whatever that means. And it's just another blade that they sell. And I chose the ellipse, and you had to choose a profile, or you had to choose the sharpening radius as well. And what caught me off guard is when I went to check out, and they tell you how to check out. You pick the ellipse, and then when you check out, you select which profile you want. I chose the ellipse, and then you got to choose which sharpening radius you want. Well, I'd always had 3/8, and then I went to 1/2 inch, and my friend's trying to recommend to me 5/8, but on the website it only let me choose the shallowest one was 3/4, or the deepest one rather was the 3/4, and then they wanted you either inch or even higher than an inch, and I thought, that's almost like flat. Is there even any edge on there? So I chose the 3/4, and I took a chance. These blades are not cheap. They're a couple $100, and I knew I was taking a risk. And so these are the blades I replaced, and this is the blade I put in, the LS Pulse TI. And when I first got them, and I did choose a 3/4 inch hollow, and it'll tell you how to do that on the website. And so when I first got the blade and I put them next to each other, it's imperceptible. There is a slight difference, but you really couldn't tell anything. I thought, man, there's no difference to these at all. I'm going to go out on the ice. I'm going to spend $250 on blades that are completely worthless. But such was not the case. I took a step onto the ice, and it rocked forward. It did. I thought, my first initial thought was, this isn't going to work. And I rocked forward, and I thought, oh no. And then the side of the blade immediately bit the ice, which caught me off guard, because I thought, being 3/4, I would just slide. Which they do, and it's something to get used to. If you stand in a certain way, these blades will just slide across. But they're sharp enough to where when you pivot and turn, the blades do grab. So don't let the hollow deceive you. But when I started skating, after a few minutes of public skating, I went public skating to test them out. They were definitely different. They were definitely that little bit of difference between the blades made a world of difference. And so I practiced skating with them in public skate, but I wasn't really sure, how do you put it to the test in public skating, right? I mean, you're skating around people, you can only do so much. So the next day I had to referee 2 hockey games, and so that's where I knew it would be put to the test, and I put them to the test. And I rocked on them, and I cut, and I pivoted, and I did all kinds of things. When, as a referee, you really got to move around. And absolutely happy with them. Just thrilled to death. I could actually move. I didn't feel like I was completely hunched over. Maybe even one of the other profiles might even be better. I don't know. But the ellipse worked for me really, really well. And I'm very satisfied with them. My wife told me after the game, and I said, how did I look out there physically? I mean, did I look like I could move? And she said, you were moving so much better. You weren't hunched over, your back, you didn't look like an old man, and it really did help me in that department. There's something about that fraction of an inch that you can't, it's imperceptible, just a little bit of a rock to it really rocks your world. And so I highly recommend, if you're struggling with these brand new flat blades, is the only thing I can call them, and you need something. Just, if you have these kind of skates, just pop them out, mail them off, and have them profile it for you. That would be a suggestion. I didn't need to buy new blades. I had another set of blades. I thought, I'm just going to do it. Splurge and spend the money. So I have another pair of blades. I may get them profiled with the other profiles. They had, quad radius. I might try that. But for right now, the ellipse radius really, really was a game changer for me. And getting that 3/4 inch profile or hollow, it's a shallower cut, and so you end up sliding a little bit in some ways. But when you're skating, just push off with one foot, you will glide a long ways. It's a strange feeling, but you can feel the skate just going and going and going, and so that was impressive to me. So having that shallower hollow. And it was still sharp, and I was still able to pivot, and I was still able to cut and stop and do all the things I like to do. But it does kind of answer the question of how all these hockey players are stopping on that outside edge, their inside leg. You ever notice these younger players, they're all stopping with that other foot without using the outside foot, right? They're using the inside leg and the outside edge, and they're stopping. Well, I wonder if that's part of it. They're able to do that because of the hollow isn't going to bite as hard necessarily as a 3/8 would. But a 3/4, I was satisfied. I was able to do two hockey games, referee 2 games, and was completely happy with it. Thrilled to death, actually, because I needed something. I knew something had to change. It was driving me nuts. and this did it for me. So I just got to say, thanks to Ice Warehouse. I'm a thumbs up guy. This is a good review, positive. If you're struggling with your skate blades, give it a try. You won't regret it. I don't think you will.